Well, hey, good morning. BJ Ando out and about on the recumbent, all by himself. Joe had a cardiology appointment this morning, and she said, "Old man, get off thy butt and go for a ride. Always listen to your wife. Always. Especially when it's really good advice." So, yeah, I decided to come up a road I don't go up very often because this is Palmer Park in Colorado Springs, Colorado. This is a city park. It is absolutely humongous. This is the view from the overlook, and as you can tell, it's quite a view. I mean, check this out. There's the Rock. Oh, that's what I call Pikes Peak. Okay. Most people call it America's Mountain. I like calling it the Rock. And yes, it's very much uphill because I came in the back way. But it will be very much downhill going back that way. But I'll take you over to the actual park side here. Yeah, this is a really nice little overlook area. It's got a couple of covered tables and big bee. Don't like big bees. Me and big bees don't get along very well. This is the Austin Bluffs area, as you can tell by all the bluffs. Yes. Yeah, don't get up here very often because the road to get up here is very narrow, has no bike lane, no emergency lane, and sometimes the cars can be really rude. Especially the local yokels with their dogs in the pick 'em up trucks, that kind, Yeah, so this is the little bench. I guess now they don't have a picnic table, but they do have a covered bench. And this is the trail to get down to it from off the road. Now, the nice thing about it is you can't get a car here. They've got it blocked off up there. You can get a bike and you can walk. But, so yeah, I just said I'd try to give you something different by myself, and it's not Joe's favorite route. She had a mishap here. We were going down what I came up today, and her brakes quit working. Yeah, her disc brakes quit working. That's why she has drum brakes on her trike now. So, yeah, it's not her favorite deal here. But as you can see, it's quite a view. Now, Palmer Park has a lot of hiking trails and mountain bike trails, but they're not good for trikes. Even if you had, an Azub Typhoon X, it's mostly single track. So Typhoon X is a bit too wide for a lot of single track. But yeah, so I thought I'd just kind of bring you up here, check you out. But if you're ever in the area, it is worth it, but always do it on a weekday. Don't do it on a weekend because it's like insane traffic-wise. So yeah. All right, well, I'm going to head on back down and continue my journey, but it's steep and fast downhill, so I'm going to have to use the mounted cam instead of my handheld. So, yeah, let me show you my new mount setup. Yeah. All right. Check this out. Yeah. Okay. So from BJ, all by himself, out and about on the recumbent. We'll get back to you later. Bye for now. We're back. Basically, I got started a lot earlier than normal, so I'm gonna head home a bit more early because Joe's home from her doctor's appointment already. Howdy. And so I'm just kind of finishing up my ride here on the. I'm jumping off the Pikes Peak Greenway, or at least part of it. Doing the, they call it the pedestrian overpass, going over I-25. But they do allow bicycles and tricycles on it, as long as you're respectful of the walkers. They have priority. But yeah, it's been a beautiful day, man. Beautiful day. Just too bad Joe had to have a medical appointment because tomorrow is supposed to be a pretty good chance of rain and a bit more windy. As I said, we're going over over railroad tracks now. We'll be going over I-25 here pretty soon. Howdy. And I didn't plan on getting a really long ride today, but I hope you guys enjoyed the view of Palmer Park. It's really really quite a view from up there. Well, the Palmer Park Overlook. Got some young ladies here on their bikes. Okay. You're fine. Thank you. Now I'm on the Mesa Greenway, and hopefully, unlike last time, we won't find any bears. This is where I ran into the bear the other day. But yeah, just like I said, I'm heading home. This is just one of the normal ways, that we head back towards the apartment complex. Now that we don't keep our trikes in the storage unit anymore. Our landlord was nice enough to let us keep trikes underneath the staircase. It's an indoor staircase, and they're locked up real good. Multiple locks. And we trust our neighbors, so that's not a problem. Like I said, this is what they call the Mesa Greenway. That's I-25 on the other side of that wall there. But after the park, I went down the Academy Boulevard path, as I'll call it, and then got onto the Rock Island. Took the Rock Island all the way down where I could pick up the Pikes Peak Greenway again, and then took the Greenway down into Monument Valley Park, and that's where I picked up the pedestrian bridge to go to go over here, to the Mesa Greenway. Yeah, as we've talked about before, technically it's supposed to be Mesa Springs Greenway. I just call it the Mesa Greenway. So it's the difference between the Mesa Greenway and the Pikes Peak Greenway are two different trails. But yeah, thanks for coming along, and we'd appreciate it if you'd like, share, and subscribe to our video channel, Out and About on the Recumbents. And just a big shout out to our subscribers. We appreciate it a lot. You guys and gals hanging in there with us. A little bit of color. It's still trying. And we're coming up on a really busy street. And I'm going to have to... well, maybe not. It looks like they actually put in... oh, yeah, it looks like they did. How about that? They put in new poles so you could get to them real easy, because they used to be on that big black pole there. How nice. Yeah. Great. It's kind of really quiet, boy. You can barely hear it. Oh, that's really nice, man. Thank you, City of Colorado Springs. You must have just put those in. We were here the other day and they weren't here. Okay. So we got over there really fast. That worked out great. Yeah, I mean, I do complain about some things the city can't get to, the old asphalt sections of some of the trails, several of our trails, are getting in really bad shape. But I'll have to give them, credit where credit's due. They do try hard, especially when the federal government won't help them at all now. So they have to, take this out of the city budget, which, well, let's face it, you know how cities are. Cities rarely ever have enough money. It's a rare case when a city has a surplus. It seems like they never have enough money. But like I said, it's been a very enjoyable day, except for the fact that Joe's not here. That's kind of a bummer. She's my riding buddy. You probably wonder why we ride alone so much. Well, the main reason is because Joe and I are, we do have e-assist, and I mean, yeah, they're capable of 20 miles an hour because they're pedal assist. We don't have a throttle. But Joe and I just like to go slow. We're not ever in a hurry. We both had to hurry too much, when we were working. I spent 6 years in the service, 4 years in the Air Force, 2 years in the Navy. And, man, let me tell you, it was always hurry up and wait, go, 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 So now that we're retired but poor, we, when we get on the tracks, we just try not to be in a hurry. Yeah, every once in a while, like the day before, we had to go to the store to get food. I'm always in kind of a hurry to get that over with. I don't like food shopping, okay? But Joe being a strapping 4'11", they like to put a lot of the stuff that we like on the top shelf. So she can't reach it. So, she's always having to grab somebody to get it for her. So it makes it easier for her if I just go do the shopping and she sits out with the trikes and, reads her ebook and on her phone and just, kind of relaxes. A little harder during the winter time, because it takes a while for it to warm up. But as it gets colder, we won't go to the store so early. In fact, now, we usually go to the store, get home, and then we go someplace for, we either, take our peanut butter and jelly sandwich, our brown bag lunch, or we, stop at fast food or a local restaurant or something, Usually not a local restaurant because we don't want to leave the trikes where we can't see them. But there's still several places that have big windows and stuff like that. And as long as they're locked up to something, it'd take them a while to get it, But yeah, we just well, what I was saying is that we what we'll do is, as winter comes on, we're very fortunate because we don't get like snows that stay, like Chicago or anywhere in Wisconsin, anywhere in Minnesota, the upper Midwest states, where when it snows, I mean, it's there all winter. No, we're not like that. We're actually in a semi-arid area, so it snows. Usually within a couple of days it's gone. Every once in a while we'll get, like a multiple day. But it doesn't happen that often. And we don't get deep snow most of the time. Most of the time we get 3 or 4 inches, but it can do a foot or more, just according to how it catches the cold fronts and stuff. But we what we do is we change over and we actually go to lunch first and then we go to the store. So our mileage will be a lot lower because it's basically a 5-mile round trip to the Walmart marketplace where we do most of our shopping. I'm thinking about doing the upper part of this trail. I don't do that very often, so give you another view of something a little different. See if I can get up here and get this. Up, 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 up. Okay, I'm catching the street button here. All right. Okay. Oh, round and round and round she goes. Where she stops, nobody knows. Okay, so we just crossed over Fontanero Street, and now we're going to go do the north part of the Greenway. Well, the Mesa Greenway. Sadly, though, like many of our trails, it ends. This one really ends. It has a dead end because it runs right into the back of the American Furniture Warehouse building. So yeah, it's a true dead end. There's really nowhere else for the trail to go. Besides that, they'd have to run it right along I-25, and yeah, it would be icky. I have to give the city credit, though, for putting up these sound walls, for these people that live just on the other sides of I-25. Oh, and making a beautiful area like, this, all green, and that's why they call it a greenway, instead of an open space or just a trail. I said it got a little color, not much. It's pretty much fading out now. And you see a lot of mostly naked trees. So yeah, when we get up to the end here, we'll just go ahead and, oops, sorry, went a little too far. Go ahead and shut down the video. But again, hey, thanks for coming along. I said, we got a couple of days of supposedly fairly rainy weather. Thursday's supposed to be quite rainy. Today's Wednesday. So Thursday's supposed to be quite rainy. And then Friday's supposed to be iffy. They don't know what it's exactly going to do. But they think it'll rain there too. So we'll probably just not ride and go for a walk. We do a lot of walking. We probably do as much walking as we do riding, so just we don't get to go as far. That's why, one of the reasons we like the trikes so much is because they let us go a lot farther than walking. Now, we don't do that long a ride normally. Our rides are usually somewhere between 15 and 25 miles, but more like, 15 to 20. The problem with Colorado Springs, we don't have any of those great trails, that go on for 60 or 70 miles, or even, the only one we have that's that length is the Pikes Peak Greenway. But most of the Pikes Peak Greenway is dirt, and gravel and rock and stuff, The only part that's paved or concrete is through Colorado Springs itself. So, if you did that whole trail, if you were going north, you'd have to start just outside the town of Fountain to the south of Colorado Springs, and then you'd come through the Colorado Springs part, and then you'd take the trail heading north, the Pikes Peak Greenway heading north, going up to Monument and Palmer Lake. Those are two small towns, although Monument's getting to be pretty good size. that, you know, and if you did that whole trail, okay, that you'd be looking at probably about 50-55 miles. But like I said, basically 3/4 of it's all dirt. So you gotta like dirt, okay? You gotta be like my friend Pitmaster Toby of Toby's Trikes and Barbecue. Great site. A YouTuber just like us, or just like me, and but he does a lot of cool off-road stuff because both his trikes, he has a Zub Tri-Fly X, so it's a big 26-inch wheels on all three wheels, but he also has a HP Velo Technique Scorpion full suspension that he's turned into an off-roader. So he goes some seriously mean places. Plus, too, he's a retired military, so he gets to go on a lot of the roads on Fort Carson, which is the big Army post here in Colorado Springs. And, you know, so get to see some places, you know, we civilians don't get to see. So, but yeah, like I said, we're coming up to the end there here. Once we hit this wall, we got to turn around and head on back, and I'll be heading back to the barn, as they say, heading back home, because Joe's back from her appointment, and if she didn't get a chance to take a walk, it'll give us time to maybe take a little walk. Okay. All right. Well, as you can see, this is the end. Yeah. That's I-25 right there. You can't miss it. All that massive craziness. So, all right. I'm going to turn around here. Oh, whoa. A little bit of downhill. Back up a bit. All right. Get straightened up so we can head back over here. Well, I guess that's it for today's video. And I wanted to let you guys know I'm using these. I went to these. They call these the adaptable pedal, you know, and they're also known by Franken pedal or Frankenstein pedal because of how large they are. But I've been very happy with them. I like these better than I like the cleats because they let your feet move around a little bit. And the other thing it does is that you know, with the big strap on the front there, I mean, yeah, your foot can bounce up a little bit, but that's all it ever goes, you know, just up to the top of the strap. So you're not coming out of these things. So, yeah, I've been very happy with them. They're ugly like a dog, but I like them. Did they get rid of all my foot burn? No. No pedals do. The best situation for the foot burn was the what they call the mid-arch cleat position on clip-in shoes. But they're, you know, there's only one guy that makes the shoes, especially for recumbents, and that's Bill Barrera. He's on the Facebook on a group site called Recumbent One. So if you want information on his mid-arch cleat shoes, because he sells the shoes with the already put in the mid-arch cleat position, and of course they'll fit any of your, you know, whatever pedals you've got that your cleats fit to, and that's the best. But the pedals, I mean, the shoes are $250, and then you've got the pedals, you know, which are another, might as well say, you know, somewhere between 50 and 100. and these came out to like 45, these Franken pedals, so that's just better. I like them. Yeah, I tried the big platform pedal like Gio Matt uses, and I didn't like it. My feet kept coming off the pedals, and I even had I got a set of pedals that allowed me to put on the TerraTrike heel strap, so my foot would bunch up off of the pedal, but at least it would usually land in the back in the heel strap. But I just didn't feel safe in them. So all right, well, that's enough of that. Hey, we do appreciate you guys a lot. So until we see you next time, as usual, man, or put it to you this way, until we come together next time, happy trails. Bye, folks.